The lazy, hazy days of summer break are almost over for thousands of students across North Georgia. That means it's time to get back into a routine, and that transition can be challenging for children and parents alike. Licensed therapist Melanie Preston is here with ways to manage the family stress as the school gets back in session. Melanie, good morning.
Good morning.
So good to have you with us.
So good to be here.
There's a lot to talk about this time of year to get us ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's just kind of jump right in on this idea of stress, because there's so much that happens right now, really just in the next week or two. And you say this isn't just about logistics. I mean, this is actually an emotional thing.
It is. You know, it's not about logistics, right? It's not just about going back to school and having bedtimes and packing lunches and all of those things, but it's the emotional change, right? Because kids, if they're anything like our kids, they have been living their best life.
Oh, yeah.
All summer, carefree, freedom, sleeping in, and then the psychological stress of now I have to get things back in order. Now I'm expected to have a bedtime and get up on time and to perform. So it's absolutely not just logistics.
Yeah.
It's much more emotional.
And I always find that there are two different kinds of parents. There are the ones that are ready to get back into something more regimented, and the ones that are just really going to miss the slower pace of things. But either way, whether you're looking forward to this or not, this can be a stressful process. But you say the good news here is that we can anticipate sort of the whiplash that's about to happen.
Absolutely, you know, because a lot of times, as with whiplash, you don't really necessarily feel it immediately, but then as you kind of get into it, it's, oh, wait a minute. We do have to have structure. We do have to get up. We do have to create these new norms again, or we have to reacclimate, right? And so that's what we're really talking about, is how do families really reacclimate to getting into structure without it seeming so regimented.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always a lot of talk about how you get children prepared for that transition, but it's not just the kids too. It's also the parents.
It's not.
Yeah, and tell us about how parents can avoid really being overreactive to everything that's going on right now.
So I think, first of all, you know, you have to realize that as a family, right, we don't want to just go straight into another routine, but we want to have what we call reset rituals, where as we're getting back into the school year, we're looking at things like how do we create weekly meetings? What are we doing at dinner, right? So that everyone's not just all over the place, but we are still finding ways to emotionally connect. So creating, say, like I said, the weekly meeting. Our family, we like to do a Sunday night meeting where we kind of talk about and we debrief about the upcoming week. Also at dinner, you know, asking those questions. How was your day? What did we learn today? What did we learn this week? But it's not just for the kids. It's also a time for parents to be able to say, hey, this is how my week was. Yeah. This is how my day was. And so for some, you know, just starting small. And so maybe choosing one of those things that you decide to implement into your weekly routine until that becomes normal. Right. And then maybe you add the next layer.
Well, and I like how you frame that as it's not just getting back into a routine. It really is a reset, and it sounds like the way you've described it, one that should be collaborative.
Absolutely, because that's the thing. It's not just kids who are reacclimating. It's parents as well, right? Because we're still we're still working, right? But we're also now responsible for school schedules and those physicals and all the emails. So sometimes parents can become short-fused because we are so overstretched. So it's absolutely a family collaboration, or a family collaboration makes it better.
Right, yeah, because I always remember, you know, the feeling of I wanted my children to get a good start, and I felt the stress of it falling on me, that I was responsible for making making sure they had a smooth start to a new school year.
I can't tell you how many emails I've already missed, right?
Yeah, and forms and school lunches and
you've got to just kind of simmer down, woosah a little.
Yeah. And last but not least here, you really say, let's normalize what this transition means for families.
Absolutely, absolutely. Give yourself some grace. That's what I would always encourage parents, especially with your children and with yourself, because the transition is messy, right? The body, the mind, it doesn't like change. And just because we're talking about back to school and it may seem simple, it's really not. And the mind thinks about that the same. It's still change that's happening. And so giving yourself grace, giving your kids grace, and just knowing that it may be a little messy, it may have its bumps, but it's okay. And if you go into it as a family with that grace extended, you'll be just fine.
That is great advice. Melanie, thank you so much for getting us off on the right foot here.
Thank you.
Before it all gets started.
I know.
Here we go. And if you would like some more tips from Melanie Preston, you can head to our website, fox5atlanta.com. You'll find ways to reach her from there.